Are we on the air?
Yes, you are.
Heaven. Heaven.
Heaven, man.
Yeah, Nas, Socrates, Jully Black.
But let's be honest. When we put something like Heaven in terms of like Canada, it's the biggest collaboration between New York and Toronto.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel you.
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
Nas,
Yeah,
Nas,
yeah.
and not just to mention that you guys collaboed, but it's probably
dope.
one of his best songs.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
lyrically.
you guys. I gotta carry you. I gotta
this
get
is
a
real
big old
talk.
purse and carry you guys all in there, and I need some self-esteem.
This is real talk. Talk about how that came together.
Man, MCA days.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was recording the record, and my management at the time. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say this. Anyway, so I was recording. I forgot I'm at home. So I was recording this record with MCA, and they sent me to Orlando, and it was a pop thing, you know. And we keep it real here. My management at the time wasn't really into the pop thing, but I always again believe everything happens for the right reasons.
Right.
Here I am. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go do this session. Let me just go do it. Get out the way. I'm doing this session. Little did I know Nas would be in Studio B. I'm in Studio A.
Wow.
And it's lunchtime. They had a little catering thing, and he's in the lunchroom. And you know, it's interesting. If it was maybe Patti LaBelle, I might have been afraid to go up to her. But this is where it's like hip hop. I love hip hop, but I'm not intimidated by it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, it's Nas. What up, y'all?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
up to him? Hey,
Yeah.
name's Jully Black. Blah blah. I talked about being from Toronto, Sox, Agile. Has this tune. I want you to hear it. And at that time, I already worked with other American writers and producers, but my spirit was just all about Sox, Toronto, and I thought about just us being young and hungry. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna come through the tomorrow. Tomorrow didn't come true. I'm like, sure. Can't even say what names I called him. Anyway, I was in there for a week. The day after that, it was like the heavenly, no pun intended, gates just opened.
Yeah.
And in came Nas.
Wow.
And at the time I was recording this song Material Things, which he ended up being on. But we stopped the session and I had to play him The Things You Do, which is my original version.
Right, which is on your album.
Which is on my album.
Yeah.
And
so that song was already done.
it was done.
Yeah.
Like 3 years prior.
Oh.
In Sox's basement.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, he fell in love with it, and it was just like, hey, you want to do a even swap? I'm figuring if he wanted that song, he'd put Mary on it or whoever else on it, and I'll just get my writing, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, man, you're dope, nah. And I called Sox from there. I'm like, look, we gotta go to Long Island. He's flying us. We gotta. Don't even worry about we'll work out the publishing later. And
just come.
he was just like, nah, even swap, no money. Didn't charge me a penny.
You know what's crazy? Because
Wow.
that's basically how it is nowadays. You know what I mean? When you really think about all the collabos that happen between artists nowadays,
Relationships.
It's a relationship and a swap.
Yeah, well, you know, we are basically we're going to be the last men and women standing. The business is changing.
Yeah, for sure.
The business has changed, and so if you don't have relationships, you're basically gonna become extinct. So yeah.
How'd you feel once you heard the finished song?
Oh my God! It's like there's a endless plate of curry goat in front of me and rice, and my mom right beside me eating it. No, it was just amazing feeling. The only thing for me, I felt like I was quite the Casper. People knew the voice but didn't know the face.
Right.
And this is the connection that I can't wait to make. When I interviewed Alicia Keys for E-Talk, and she's like, I'm like, you're the Jully? You're the Jully on Heaven? So just, you know, so those are the moments that are like, okay, don't worry.
Yeah.
The day will come.
I'm coming.
Fall
I'm
into
coming.
place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
OTA Talk, we hanging out. Jully Black in the building. Rez and Ty. Now, you talked about E-Talk and all the stuff that you've done outside of singing.
Yeah.
And we're in that era of like, yo, you can't just be an artist anymore. It's about multitasking. You have to be jack of all trades, artist, producer, card player, web space master, MySpace.
I'm Facebooking it myself, trust me.
She's killing Facebook, though.
How do you feel?
They banned me.
How do you feel that affects you, Jully, the singer, the artist, when it comes to the process of you like just trying to just do that?
Like, does it take away from making music?
Yeah.
Well, for me it doesn't, because I'm very much a clutch writer and clutch performer. I can't start writing my next record right now. They have to tell me, yeah, your record's due in 2 months, and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Just like that. 9 songs, 9 days, done.
Wow.
So it allows me to just be able to be free and just live life comfortably, you have to build your brand. Like imagine if Pepsi was just selling Pepsi on Eglinton West. Like you gotta build your brand. And I realized that I look at Queen Latifah as my the mold that I'd like to kind of take and emulate. It's like, wow, she's easy breezy cover girl. She's setting it off.
Pizza
she's
Hut.
Dana. We know that's the voice, though.
Yeah, I know.
How funny
exactly.
is that?
Yeah,
right?
I know. That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So E-Talk came and they allowed me to be me, no script. And growing up here, raised in Toronto, I watched television and didn't see anybody who looked or sounded like me from my country.
Right.
Zero influences.
Right.
And it's time to change that. So it's not even like I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for the next generation.
Yeah.
And we can tell by the new album that it hasn't really taken away from her music making.
No, it has not. We
Thank
got
you.
it right here. It is called Revival. For those who don't know, it's actually #1 in Canada. If you don't know that, I just said it. You worked on this album with one guy, basically
One
producing,
guy.
Keith Harris.
Keith Harris.
For those who don't know, Keith Harris, Black Eyed Peas, backup band,
Bucky Johnson.
Bucky Johnson.
Yeah.
What is it like working with someone in a situation where you're literally working with musicians? It's not like, and I'm not taking anything away from doing something with, like, in hip hop, a beat maker, one guy making a beat, here you go. But now you're working with a drummer, you're working with a guy who plays trumpet, and everything's what's that like?
It's, oh man, it brought me back to what I thought Motown may have been like. It upped my game. It's like, you're gonna play ball against the grade 7s when you're like in grade 12? Nah. Like, it really made me have to raise the bar. Everybody who he brought on board, including himself, a lot of them are Berkeley graduates, and there's Usher's guitar player Johnny, and there's Brian McKnight's people, and there's Macy Gray's horns, and it was like they came on this project that didn't have a budget, I'll be quite frank, and was like, we get to play our instruments, like we get to do a project that we actually dreamt of doing. We're not just playing on top of a track.
Yeah.
And so it was just the most amazing feeling to feel the music on my skin, and them make the music and me have to step up and like, wow, I gotta match this. They could hear if I'm pitchy or if I'm sharp or if I'm flat.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it was, but in no way was I intimidated. It was good to know that I came in knowing Pro Tools, knowing the things I had to learn through This Is Me. I had to engineer my own sessions. I had to do my own harmonies. And so it's like, okay, well, it's like that. So it's kind of a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
I always said, like, the first time I heard 7 Day Fool, you have an amazing voice. We already know that. But if there is such a thing as even great voices getting better, I think whatever Keith Harris did with you, he took that. I mean, the vocal performance on that is outstanding.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Did you feel the same way at all? Like when you looked at the entire album after?
I think she could have done it without Keith Harris.
Holla.
Sorry, keep going.
I feel that I've definitely grown.
Yeah.
And it's nice to finally be able to have a point of reference. If I didn't have This Is Me,
Exactly.
I wouldn't even know I grew, right?
Yeah,
right.
And Etta James is my most favorite artist of all time. People would think, oh, who's your favorite artist? Mary? No, Etta. I'm in love with that woman.
Yeah.
She's an underdog, so am I. You like things like that, right?
Yeah.
And Keith, he challenged me with that song. He picked it, to be quite honest, because I always do Fool That I Am, At Last, the ballads. Belt a ballad out.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you do a fast song, we get it right. And he challenged himself to get them drums right. Because you don't do a classic unless you're going to do it right or better.
Yeah, for sure.
And I listen to the project now. I enjoy performing it. I do my shows now, and it's like 90% revival. And because it's live instrumentation, it sounds like the record.
Yeah.
We don't have to try and recreate.
Right.
You know?